Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.
Where am I?
Well, hi there, Tom. About time.
My hands. What happened to my fingers, my boys?
No. Before you fellas get yourselves in a tizzy, we're cartoons.
You made us into a cartoon? How? Oh my God, where are my eyes?
Yeah, they're pretty big now. You gotta be careful. As to the how, it turns out that the cloning machine works perfectly well when you...
You know what? It doesn't matter. Whatever you did, put it back. Can you get us back into our regular bodies?
Oh, I wish I could, Noah, but on the upside, this is definitely gonna be the way we get famous. We go on adventures, we can do a musical episode, not to mention the cartoon shenanigans like this. Cecil, catch!
Look, Eli, this is a bomb!
Oh. Okay,
no.
so quick note, we can all still die, so everyone be careful with your cartoon bodies, I guess.
Yeah, will do. Jeez. Really glad this isn't a visual medium.
Just everywhere.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. Hi, kids! I'm Captain Frumpy, and I'm joined by our super fun comedy army, introducing Lieutenant Grumpy, Sergeant Lumpy, and Private Stumpy, Noah, Eli, and Tom.
Well, so long as I outrank these motherfuckers, I guess.
Yeah, and Cecil, I'm not lumpy, I'm folded smooth like meringue.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and for the last time, I told you my penis nickname in confidence. I'm going to bring it up on air now. It's a thing.
Hey, kids, do you know where Mommy's credit card is? If so, you can join our super secret club of patrons, and you get all kinds of extra goodies, and Mommy will never, ever know. And if you'd like to sign up for that super secret mission, be sure to stick around till the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Tom, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event or place on the internet will we be talking about today?
Bronies?
It's a place on the internet.
For a whole episode,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, it was this or we let him talk about Ben Johnson.
Oh, so Bronies, you say?
Bronies it was.
And Eli, you found a way to get your latest Twitter squabbles into our show again. You ready to quote tweet to your heart's delight?
You may mute my life, but you will never mute my freedom!
So Eli, tell us what are bronies?
They are, broadly speaking, the older male fans of the show, My Little Pony. Friendship is magic.
For
But
a whole episode.
Just whole thing.
But they are also...
With a name like this, it goes so bad. That's the thing that just...
But they are also a symbol of the power of the internet, both for good and evil. For to ask what a brony is to ask what the internet is.
Okay,
Bronies bring joy to dying children in cancer wards. They raise money for charity. They get infiltrated by Nazis and inspire a mass shooting because...
Wait, what?
This is the internet, and that's how it works now.
Is there any chance you just lay out some nerds for us to make fun of on our comedy podcast without disappearing entirely up our own ass, Eli?
None whatsoever, Cecil. None whatsoever.
All right, cool.
You've heard his essays before.
Cool. I was worried for a second. We'd write too funny a pony episode. I'm glad this is going to get sort of brought down Sort of the gravitas it deserves here.
Well, but look on the bright side, Cecil. We haven't reached the part where you're expected to make mass shooting jokes yet, so enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to pass on that.
Throw some pony puns in there. But first, a little backstory. You know the restaurant chain Big Boy? Well, in 1998, toy collector Mike Becker couldn't find one of their popular bobblehead piggy banks for love or money. So he decided to buy the license and make his own at a little company he would call Fun Co. with a K. And while the Big Boys didn't sell particularly well, he licensed a few other well-known pop culture characters at the same time and put out their bobbleheads, which sold incredibly well, and a new business was born.
Yeah, great. I'm already completely lost. I've never thought, oh man, I can't find that toy based on an extremely weird corporate mascot for a mediocre food chain. I guess I'll spend even 1 second of my life's precious time solving that problem. What?
All right. So is it just me, or have we already strayed irrevocably off course?
Okay, so from you, Noah? From Tom, I expected it. From you?
It's amazing how this starts with a grown man obsessed with toys.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Full circle. In 2011, Funko began selling their Pop! Vinyl line of figurines. These were based on the bobbleheads of popular franchises that had already been licensed, but they were designed in the chibi art style with large eyes and simplified features, and they were made of vinyl instead of hard plastic. People went nuts for them. People collect these things by the hundreds. They became as part of popular culture as Naruto and body pillows, by which I mean very important to some people and entirely unheard of by Tom.
Okay, I've heard of pillows. Yeah. People use those.
Figurines just sound warmer on vinyl. It's just why that's why you want to collect.
To give you an idea of the scope of this, by 2012, Funko had sold more than $20 million worth of merchandise.
You know, Eli, you're not instilling me with any confidence whatsoever by opening your essay with an entirely unrelated, it seemed dumb at the time, but trust us, it turned out well anecdote.
I'm weaving a tapestry. Okay. All right. So let's put a pin in my Funko thread for a moment and hop with me to the world of children's entertainment. So for most of television history, there were two categories of children's entertainment. Publicly funded PBS content, whose goal was education. This is shows like Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street, Teletubbies. The second category, literally all other children's television, was toy commercials of varying lengths.
That's very true. So I got to ask a question, though. Other than teaching your kids stark, raving fear, what educational purposes do the Teletubbies serve? I cannot figure it out.
Okay, I don't know that a show has to have two purposes.
That's true. That's true.
There you go. Also, to be clear, those 30-minute commercials disguised as programs were illegal until the Reagan administration. Apologies for the factual interjection into an Eli essay. I just wanted to talk about the history of.
You see, children have very little choice over their lives. They don't choose what clothes to buy. They might choose what kind of food they eat, but certainly not the brand. But if you're going to sell shit to kids, you pretty much can only sell them the things they do get to choose. Their toys, their fast food, and their cereal. And thus, entire television shows have been born. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Power Rangers, and of course, the original My Little Pony TV shows are all barely disguised TV commercials, formulaically written with the appropriate balance of violent and jingoistic messaging expected for all television written for a United States audience.
Okay, I think you're skipping over the very high quality PSAs, which taught me to avoid the seemingly ubiquitous issue of downed power lines that defined my childhood fearscape from the 80s.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, God, don't remind me, Tom. I'm still traumatized by those lies they told us about how a bill could pass through the Senate and become a law. Lying bastards.
Yeah. So back to the toy companies. In 2009, Hasbro decides to put out a line of Funko Pop-esque themed toys from their popular franchise, My Little Pony. And with the new toy line, they needed a TV show to push it. And thus, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic was born. But this toy pushing show was different.
I'd like to formally make a request that we don't talk about where anatomically people were pushing these toys.
Request denied.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
It's the whole second half of the essay.
God damn it.
So there are are a lot of
explains
things.
the photo collage.
Jesus
put in here.
Christ.
We don't normally get a photo
Vision
collage.
board, Sean, not a photo
That was
collage.
okay.
There are a lot of things that make My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, or as it's known in the community, MLPFIS, special.
Yeah, that's easier somehow.
Yeah, right.
But I think two especially led to the creation of the Bronies. The first is, like Sesame Street, Rocko's Modern Life, and Looney Tunes before it, it has jokes and themes that work for both adults and kids. And secondly, it doesn't suck.
See, Eli, I feel like you were about to imply that the 1984 Transformers cartoon sucked until you thought better of it.
I have legal reasons not to besmirch that show's good
Exactly,
name.
right, yeah.
So it's MLPFIS is how you refer to it instead. Is there like a My Little Pony special victims unit later that we're going to talk about?
Again, spoilers for the second half.
All right, that's fair.
See, those other kid shows, G.I. Joe, Power Rangers, they're unwatchable by adults who aren't already fans because of nostalgia. But creative director Lauren Faust aimed higher and created a deep lore and complex characters for the show, which children still enjoyed because, ponies, but it invited adult fans in as well. And thus, the Brony was born. But what motivates the Brony? What makes them tick? Well, surprisingly, several experts have weighed in. According to Wikipedia, quote, Dr. Patrick Edwards, who performed several Brony studies to survey and analyze the fandom, observed that Brony fandom, unlike most other fandoms, which, quote, aren't welcoming to people who are different, end quote, promotes the show's message of love and tolerance. In other words, a lot of people become Bronies because the Brony world is nice. It's welcoming. I mean, it's a show about ponies called Friendship is Magic. How dickish can their fans be?
Okay, this is both from the internet and on Citation Needed, so I'm pretty sure that answer is going to be really, really fucking dickish. That's
Yeah, right. So I feel like the phrase dickish is making Cecil nervous.
It is. Thank you. Noah. Thank you. It is very nervous.
But that's not all we know about the elusive Brony. Again, from Wikipedia, quote, one contributor to the Brony study, Dr. Marcia Redden, said that adult fans are, quote, a reaction to the U.S. having been engrossed in terrorism for the past 10 years, in a manner similar to the Cold War, and we are, quote, tired of being afraid, tired of angst and animosity. The show and its fandom are outlets from those strifes. She compared the Brony fandom to that of the Bohemian and the Beatniks after World War II, and of the hippies after the Vietnam War, end quote.
It's like a little pony in a black beret, black outfit, cigarette stuck in between his hoof there.
trying desperately to snap their hooves instead of clapping.
Right? Yeah, you can't do it. It just winds up waving it up and down constantly. Nothing's happening.
We're really made for clapping. Why are we even trying snaps?
The article continues, quote, in a similar vein, Amy Keating Rogers, one of the show's writers, believes that the fans have come to like Friendship is Magic due to the, quote, so much cynicism and negativity out there in so many other shows, while the show has such a positive message that counters this, end quote.
Okay, is it just me, or are these the frenzied conclusions of people who desperately need to justify how much of the budget they just spent studying My Little Ponies?
Yep, that is a possibility. But whomst are the Brony?
Whomst.
How old are they? What be their color and their sex? Again, this has been studied. Quote, 2 informal studies of 2,300 and 9,000 participants, respectively, revealed that the average age of adult fans is around 21, that approximately 86% were male, and that 63% were currently pursuing a college degree or higher qualification. A subsequent 2013 study with over 21,000 respondents showed similar numbers and highlighted that the majority of fans were in the 15 to 30 age range, with the average age being between 19 and 20, and over 65% were heterosexual.
Shh, guys, hold on. If you listen really closely, you can hear Tucker Carlson sharpening his pencil for the next campus craziness segment.
The fandom has spawned websites such as Equestria Daily and PonyChan, which see hundreds of thousands of visits a day. In 2012, there were over 500,000 pieces of My Little Pony fan art on the website DeviantArt, only some of which were pornographic, but pin in that for later.
Yeah, I'm guessing all that joy and positivity begins to decline right about the same time that someone decided that his drawing of a magical pony getting anally fisted should really be both made public, and then the public agreed.
There are even conventions. The final BronyCon, which took place in August of 2019, had 10,215 attendees. At these conventions, there are speakers from the show, people dress up as the characters, share their fan art, get autographs, participate in talkbacks, and much, much more.
I have no evidence but my hunch, but I feel like much, much more is a bit of an exaggeration, right?
I was literally wondering, name one more. What else would there? Like, they got sandwiches later. What more?
They fuck each other dressed as ponies, Tom.
Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
That's
certainly the case.
Bronies are also extremely active in their charitable and fundraising efforts. The Brony Thank You Fund was originally created to raise money to create a fan-funded thank you spot on the Hub network, but has since been used to raise money for Toys for Tots, and in 2013 donated $50,000 to endow an animation scholarship at the California Institute for the Arts.
pretty great.
A group called Bronies for Good did blood drives across the country and raised $60,000 in 2012 for charities like Children's Cancer Association, Room to Read, and Cure Search. Side note, here's the most brutal sentence ever written on the website Wikipedia.
Jesus Christ.
Voice actress Tara Strong has gained help from the fandom for her Kiki's Cancer Fund to help the daughter of a close friend who had been diagnosed with a brain tumor,
Aw,
and has stated that the child wouldn't be alive today without the My Little Pony fans.
that's so great.
Raising $100,000 to help. However,
Man,
this direct quote from Wikipedia. However, the girl subsequently died of her illness.
Jesus fucking
End quote.
Christ.
With a citation. Someone was like, and I'm not just fucking with you, she died. She did die, though.
This is classic American medical system. Even with the aid of magical cartoon ponies helping you to crowdsource your medical bills, you're still shit out of luck.
Right?
But perhaps most famously of all, when 11-year-old Michael Morones attempted suicide after being bullied at school for his enjoyment of the show, the Brony community raised over $72,000 for his medical bills and helped to start an anti-bullying nonprofit for kids like Michael.
That's so awesome. All right, Eli, sounds like we have some fans of a show. They're nice. They do nice things. Got to admit, I'm surprised. I thought that this was going to go.
But there's a darker side to Bronies.
Yes.
And like the internet, it's going to involve a whole lot of porn, Nazis, and a mass shooting.
Ah, there it is. Well, while Eli rummages around the dark web for some pony porn, we're going to take a quick break for a little something we like to call apropony.
Of nothing. Hi, I'm Eli Bosnick.
And I'm Cecil, something Italian, here to present you with our newest product, Safe Internet Time Suck.
That's right, Cecil. In today's busy world of unending negativity and evil, giving your brain the slightest rest from the unrelenting onslaught of horror isn't just fun, it's the only way to survive.
That's right, Eli. Each episode of Safe Internet Time Suck is funny without being racist, friendly without being saccharine, and 237 hours long, so you can commute to it.
You can fall asleep to it.
Or just let the sound wash over you while you're at work, so you can make it just one more day at that terrible...
Guys.
No, we're in the middle of our
it's an
thing.
ad.
We're doing an ad right now.
You're interrupting.
No, I get it. You're doing a bit where we come up with a product based on the show, but like what you're talking about is our show.
What? No, the thing we're talking about is it's called Safe Internet Time Suck. No, it's different.
Yeah, internet
Yeah,
time.
man, dude, that's what podcasts are for most people. They're just a safe internet time suck.
You mean our show isn't a complex projection of my comedic genius woven into our podcastiverse?
No, dude. Like people mostly just fall asleep to it.
Oh. Do they like it?
No. No.
Oh.
And we're back, and we're all a little sad. Thanks for that, Eli. And I have a feeling it's going to get a lot worse. But let me ask you a question that I should have easily predicted I was going to ask you when we decided to take turns writing essays for this show. Eli, what is the darker side of Bronies?
Well, that's not a question anyone should be able to even say.
No, I mean like 100% after writing it.
You're right.
I was
You're
like,
right.
no, when we talked about the creation of the show, it should have occurred to one of us, right?
It was a matter of when, not
when we
if.
wrote the pros and cons list, this sentence should have been on there.
When we said no to stealing incredulous, we knew it was going to be about Bronies.
So that's what I wanted. So in order to understand the darker side of the Bronies, we need to talk about the Ku Klux Klan in the 1990s.
Would we say need?
Okay,
Is need the right
I
word?
need to talk about the KKK in the 1990s. See, by the 90s, things were not going great for the KKK. For what was arguably the first time in U.S. history, government agencies were taking the threat they posed seriously. For the first time, they were being investigated and arrested like the terrorists they were, and planning bad guy KKK stuff was getting dangerous. So in 1992, one of their leaders, a guy named Louis Beam, who had just barely escaped a sedition charge and actually only escaped it due to the fact that he had an all-white jury, wrote an article called Leaderless Resistance that has pretty much dictated white supremacist policy ever since.
Oh, so it was a white paper. I see.
And they actually kept their membership roster in little black books until they had that racist moment.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
you hate to see it. You hate to see it. So here's the thing. KKK members and racists, they don't want anything. I mean, they say they want things. They want the white man to rise up and defeat history class or whatever they're on this week. But they don't really believe it's going to happen. So their goal, especially the goal of their leadership, is victimization and terror. So in the old days, that was easy. Everybody dresses up like a ghost. You murder some people. You threaten some people. Everybody goes home. You're a senator. But like I said, cops were starting to arrest people for doing and planning that stuff. So Beam's radical solution was just to stop having leaders altogether. No more grand wizards, no more king poobahs. Instead, you just insinuate your ideas into a community and wait for so-called lone wolves to kill and threaten people. Same results, no need for a spreadsheet. And coincidentally, the 90s were also the birth of the internet.
Okay, all right. But just to be clear, that strategy, it's called losing. That's the word.
Yeah.
They were a cultural movement that lost because their ideas were rejected by this society. Factioning off into leaderless subgroups of one each, that's called disbanding, right? We already have words for that shit.
Makes it seem a lot less ominous and scary when you realize they were just like, I've decided shitting my pants is called projectile fecalization. So the other thing about KKK members and really committed racists is that they don't have Nazi TV. Okay. These people watch Tucker Carlson and are disgusted by his far left ideas. The only place these people have to find people who agree with them is the internet. And they spend a tremendous amount of time there, and they always have study after study, survey after survey of white supremacists, Nazis, and other bigots. They spend significantly more time and have way bigger presences online than you or me. And since the internet is anonymous by default, you never know if the 11 people you're arguing with about white genocide on Twitter are just the same guy switching profiles. But when we've studied it, at least some of the time, that's what it is.
They call 11 Twitter alt accounts a faker's dozen. Faker's dozen.
Yeah, that makes sense. All those Twitter eggs are white. So,
The internet also provides the cover of irony. You know, racist jokes, racist memes, racist comments. They're all ways of putting hate group agenda out there. But when you get called on it, hey, it's just a joke. And people who aren't KKK members will repeat and promote racist ideas because the joke makes people mad, and making people mad who are mad at the KKK is funny, I guess. Which brings me to 4chan and eventually back to My Little Pony.
I'm so happy to hear you remember what this essay was about. Honestly, I was starting to think this whole thing was secretly about why you were too right in that last Twitter fight. That probably was just one guy with a bunch of accounts anyway.
Now, 4chan probably deserves its own essay, but if you're not familiar, if the Christian devil were real, he'd want to distance himself as far as possible from 4chan. It is perhaps the best example of innocuous places on the internet being overcome by evil and white supremacy. And it is, without question, the birthplace of the Bronies.
Okay, well, now I'm picturing My Little Ponies and little KKK outfits. It's your fault and I'm not okay with it, Eli.
Yeah, right.
I have so many of those photos. I could get you so many of those
No,
photos.
I don't want
Jesus
those.
Spoilers
Christ.
for the rest of the episode. So, in October of 2010, right when the show came out, the website Cartoon Brew put out an article voicing concern that a veteran animation professional like Faust was making an animated toy commercial. Its author called the show, quote, the end of creator-driven era in TV animation. And whether it's because he had a foreign-sounding name or because people actually liked the show, the post from Cartoon Brew received tremendous pushback on 4chan, and soon, loving My Little Pony was an ironic joke on the site. My Little Pony became so endemic that it even got its own section on the website. And like everything else on 4chan, that section was soon filled with literal Nazis.
Yeah, I remember when irony was cool and didn't involve Nazis. Like, there was a time. Golden age.
I'll take your word for it. So, for many, being a brony was a joke, but for others, it wasn't. The difference, at least at first, didn't matter. If you say, I'm a My Little Pony fan on the internet, you are. Right? There's nothing that accompanies your post with like, Kyle's actually full of shit. He doesn't like the show. He's just saying this to be ironic. And what better way to ironically celebrate your love of a pony show than drawing a bunch of edgy My Little Pony themed porn about it?
Jesus. I also remember when being edgy didn't involve cartoon animal pornography, like, at all. It's just
So, I do not remember that. Clearly, that was before my time.
Now you're just making stuff up, Tom. We know. So maybe you're thinking to yourself, come on, Eli, how much pony porn can there be? Podcast listener? So much pony porn. So fucking much pony porn. Guys, so much pony porn. There's so much porn. What happened to us as a culture? We didn't have to do this. Here are some numbers.
Okay.
On the popular website, fan art website, Derpy Buru, 121,777 images are tagged sex.
no
128,401 images are tagged with vulva.
Wait.
pony
Boy.
vulva?
There's a
Cecil,
math that I can't do quick.
7,000 that are just not sexual.
That are unsexual vulva. Yep. 79,000.
They're like anatomical charts for doctors.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Medical
Like,
information.
It's like when you go to the doctor and you look on the wall and there's an arrow pointing to a thing and you're like, oh yeah, that's where the My Little Pony vulva is. I didn't realize.
You have to understand the anatomy before you can even be a good partner.
Jesus Christ.
79,676 posts are tagged cum.
Oh.
Ironically, 73,000 images are tagged with magic on the fan art website about magical ponies. They've got more cum than ponies.
The magic ones, are they just pulling like hankies out of stuff or like what's happening?
Again, I can find it. I know I can find it. So if you're asking yourself who looks at pony porn, it depends. People who want to be ponies, people who want to fuck ponies, people who want to pretend they're a pony while someone fucks them, but also people who think it's funny and shocking to make porn of a children's cartoon.
Probably mostly what it
And
is.
also probably want to fuck ponies.
That's in
This shocking contingent of the community has grown more extreme over the years, defining themselves by fan art that includes ultra-violence, sexual assault, and yes, genocide.
What?
Okay, but on the bright side, this means that somebody has at some point had to patiently explain to someone else that, you know, I'm not one of those sexy pony vulva cartoonists.
Different.
I'm here for good, clean,
classy.
pony magic fun. As it always does, this scared a lot of people away from the community who just liked the show and liked that finger thing we used to do in high school, milk, and Twitter. Suddenly, My Little Pony was a right-wing rallying point. And whenever it's been called out, it's defended not just by explicit racists, but by folks who don't understand why you're getting mad about some shit posts on a My Little Pony forum. And this culture has spilled over into the real world as well.
Well, I can't imagine how that would happen. How did they get past the literally nothing to stop that?
Yeah.
So at a convention in Seattle called Everfree, My Little Pony convention goers endured racist and sexist taunting from fellow My Little Pony fans.
That's good.
When audience members shouted sexually inappropriate things at an underage actress at a back
Jesus
at a talk
Christ.
back, the organizers apparently said there was nothing they could do because the crowd was too big. There's other stuff too, but a lot of it is internet drama or hearsay that I don't really understand. But it's fair to say that in recent years, the Brony community has been firmly divided into people who enjoy the show and racists who now just use the show as a dog whistle and as a recruiting tool.
Great.
Wow. Well, so I'm not saying we should get into it, but I am actually morbidly curious now at what elements of this story were too internet drama-y for Eli. I'm not saying I want you to tell me. I'm just saying I am.
It involves
curious.
polyamory and people's personas. I don't want to get into it. The whole thing.
I don't want you to get into it.
Yeah.
Eli.
And I want to say, in defense of the Bronies, the vast majority of Bronies are not right-wing, right? Organization after organization within the fandom has condemned racism and sexism and unacceptable pony porn. But that's the problem when your community's online. You don't get to say who is and is not a member, and you don't get to dedicate your entire presence in that community to talking about how the shitty folks in it are bad, because then you're not a Brony, you're a volunteer internet moderator.
Yeah, as an atheist podcaster, I actually can't relate to this at all.
Not at all.
No way. Talking about.
And all of this culminates, as I mentioned before the break, in a literal mass shooting. On April 15th, a 19-year-old self-described Brony went on a racism-fueled mass shooting at his workplace that left 9 people dead, himself included. According to an internal Facebook memo about the shooter, most of his Facebook was dedicated to, quote, red pill Brony culture. In his manifesto/suicide note, he concluded by saying, I hope I can be with Applejack, that's one of the ponies, in the afterlife. My life has no meaning without her. If there's no afterlife and she isn't real, then my life never mattered anyway. End quote.
All right, Eli, if you had to summarize what you learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Applejack has merged with the far right.
Okay. Are you ready for the quiz?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. I got one for you here, Eli. Why did we choose to do this subject on the week that Heath was off? A, it's very triggering for reasons we're legally obligated not to elaborate on. B, we all know how much more time off he's going to need once he learns about My Little Pony porn. Or C, he's actually been screaming in defense of hardcore Brony porn this whole time, but Cecil cut it out.
It's C. It's C. I've barely gotten a word out the entire time.
It's kind of obvious for
Right,
us,
yeah.
not so much for the audience. Yeah.
All right, Eli, I actually suggested that you do this topic because it seemed so insane and absurd. What do I feel now that I know more? A deep, profound desire to reread Walden and cry. That's it.
That's
just
He heard trains in the distance and he could see it all coming, man.
know.
He knew this was going to happen.
You know what was on those trains? Non-sexual pony vulvas.
one train just goes right into the other train.
That's the match.
and he ran toward it, Cecil.
Yeah.
He fucking ran toward it.
All right, Eli, what's the most popular board on PonyChan? A pornographic image page, My Little Baloney Pony. B, a Nazi page, no horses of a different color / off to the master races.
Amazing.
Jesus Christ.
C, a golden shower page, don't swap horses midstream. Or D, a page of me screaming into the stark madness about this whole story, shout yourself horse.
Well, I know what our website is now, so I'm going to go with D. Is it D?
It is. We are now horse whisperers. All right. Eli, you get to win this week. That sounds like you're gonna
Because
pick
I'm the
somebody.
one who read all the parts that didn't make the essay. I know what polyamorous means. All right, I want Tom to write an essay, Tom, and your job is not to let it slip into the death of culture.
Oh, yeah, no,
right.
We never
Write
came
something,
back to
write
the
something
Funko
cheery,
Pop.
Tom. Can you write something cheery for us? Give us a new fun. Don't
I
worry,
know
it'll
that
be
I can write
cheery.
something cheerier than this.
It'll be
and
cheery.
About starving.
It'll be
to
cheery.
death. So,
Awesome. All right.
yeah.
Well, for Eli, Tom, Noah, and me, thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week. And by then, Tom will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can listen to all of our other stuff. All you have to do is go to citationpod.com and all of our podcasts are listed there. If you'd like to help keep this show going, you can steal Mom's credit card and make a per episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com.
Hey, wake up. The episode's over. I just wanted to make sure that you were playing us next. Otherwise, you might listen to a different show. So if you don't mind, just go back to episode 1 and start from there. No, don't go back to sleep.
Eli, what the hell are you doing?
Nothing.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started, risk-free, at greenlight.com/get-started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get-started.